this place, being biology boys, because we perform. We perform what we wanted to verify. What is that we verify? Whatever we study in the theory. Like, if you recall from your memory, chapter number 19 in the theory, excretion and excretory products. What are the various excretory products that are formed in different organisms? And how these organisms throw out the waste materials from their body. There is a need for every organism to throw the waste material. Otherwise, all the waste materials are poisonous from high rate to low concentration. So it doesn't matter whether it is lowly toxic or highly toxic. They have to be eliminated as and when they are formed. How these waste products are formed? In every organism, waste products are formed as end products of digestion. Like we eat carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, and of course vitamins also part of it, and we drink plenty of water. So at the end of the digestion of each of these carbohydrates, proteins, fats, there is formation of waste products. Particularly when these products ultimately when they are digested, the end product is glucose. All of us know. Oxidation of glucose gives us energy. So basically we all eat so that we get energy. And that energy comes from oxidation of glucose. All of us know. So glucose plus oxygen that we inhale. So that gives us one molecule of glucose on oxidation gives us 36 ATPs. This we know, Krebs cycle. Okay, again respiration chapter. Now, if every glucose molecule that is oxidized, well and good, all organisms are happy. 36 ATP molecules are formed. But unfortunately, some of the glucose tries to escape from our body because of two reasons. We call it diabetes. Normal language we say sweet boy, sweet girl. It's unfortunate because the sweetness, the sweet substance glucose escapes through urine. So when glucose escapes through urine, what happens? The amount of glucose remaining in the body drastically comes down, depending upon the severity of the diabetes. So as a result, person will not be able to produce required amount of energy. So the energy becomes low. As a result, person becomes weaker and weaker. Person becomes thinner. So there are symptoms. How do you know that a person is having diabetes? One is of course the test that we are going to perform will help us to know whether a person is diabetes or not. And again, theory, you know there is two types of diabetic people, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. In type 1, insulin will not be produced. Remember, I used the word beta cells in of the pancreas. You know, in our body there is a gland called pancreas. Pancreas secretes insulin. So our immune system, our own immune system, destroys those beta cells due to wrong identity of course. As a result, the pancreas will not be able to produce insulin. And insulin performs the function of holding the glucose back, which won't allow glucose to escape. Someone who holds the glucose is not there, naturally glucose will escape in the urine. So we test the urine. We collect the urine from the person and see if there is any glucose going out. If it is going how much? Degrees also. Okay. That is what exactly we are going to perform today. Second, sometimes along with the glucose, there will be elimination of albumin. Albumin is a protein. And you know, proteins are very, very important for us as they are building blocks of our body. If proteins escape, building blocks only escape from inside our body to outside through urine, then person will be having stunted growth. So the aim today of this experiment is to check whether sugar, all important sugar, is it going out through urine, and the albumin, protein substance, going out through urine. So aim of the experiment is to test the presence of sugar and albumin in urine. What are the things that we require? Test tube stand, gas burner. Of course, I would like to show you here test tubes and test tube stand, measuring cylinder to measure the various chemicals. Then we have got the Benedict's reagent, which will help us in testing the presence of sugar, Paley solution A and B. Then to test the presence of albumin, we have got something called the ring test. So in the ring test, we need to prepare what is called Roberts solution. To prepare Roberts solution, we require magnesium sulfate. This is NaSO4. And of course, HNO3, concentrated HNO3, nitric acid. So these are the various chemicals we require. And along with that, of course, we need to heat the liquids. For heating, we require gas burner. So, what are the materials required for this experiment to perform? Test tube stand, gas burner, test tube holder, urine sample. Of course, we need to collect urine. And Benedict's reagent, Paley solution A and B, NaSO4, Con HNO3. All materials are available with us in our lab. Now, what to do now? Third one, procedure. In the procedure, first we test the presence of glucose in the urine. For that, what we need to take? 2 ml of urine. We need to take 2 ml of urine. Okay, like I have taken this. Okay, Benedict's. Let me show you. Yes, this is all. Yeah, Benedict's solution. Now we have taken the urine, 2 ml of urine, 2 ml of Benedict's reagent I have added, and then boil. Thank God it's not becoming the colors that I have mentioned. Okay, in this. I have taken 2 samples. You can see sample A, sample B. From 2 people we have collected urine. Sample A, sample B. Sample A is lucky because there is no change of color. It is remaining as bluish only. But unfortunately, in the sample B, which we have collected, you can see yellowish green PPD. That means there are traces of glucose in the urine. That means the person is diabetic. Depending upon the range of colors, we can see how much is the severity of diabetes. Like if after boiling, yellowish green, which I showed you just now, traces of glucose is there. Yellow reddish, moderately diabetic. Reddish orange with the color changes after boiling, after heating, large amount of glucose. This person has to be, of course, in general, all the 3 have to be careful, but this person, reddish orange, if the urine color changes after adding the Benedict's reagent, person has to be very careful. Like normally, the pathologist will check the diabetic patient 2 times, before food, after food. So the pathologist tells the person to come without eating anything, empty stomach. So that time we will take blood. And second, after the consumption of food, we ask the person to come. If the blood test reveals 160 milligrams of sugar or glucose in 100 ml of blood, that means it is normal. But if it goes beyond, sometimes 200, 300 like that, then that is indication of diabetes. See, sometimes it goes up to 400 also. In some people, that is this reddish orange. When we perform the urine test, this will be the color. And second, again, to confirm that, we will perform one more, that is Paley's test. Again, I am doing that first person only. We have taken the 2 ml of urine, 2 ml of Paley solution A, Paley solution B. Both we add just on the walls of the test tube. And if we heated this. After heating, if it turns to reddish brown PPT is formed. In this case, it is not formed. Means this person is lucky, not having. If reddish brown PPT precipitate is formed in Bailey's test, that is again indication of diabetic person. And then third, we go for the presence of albumin. If there is presence of albumin, which is a protein, pernicious substance in the urine, then it is called albuminuria. Albuminuria. And this, to identify this albuminuria, we perform a ring test. For that, we need to prepare what is called Roberts solution. So we need to take in Roberts solution. We need to take 2 grams of MgSO4. This is magnesium sulfate. 2 grams we have taken and dissolved in 10 ml water. And in that we have taken 5 ml and 5 ml conc nitric acid. We have taken this mixed HNO3. So that gives us what is called Roberts solution. Now we have to take 5 ml of Roberts solution in this, and to that we need to take the urine sample that is available with us, drop the urine sample with the dropper along the walls of the test tube, and if you see formation of a ring, that's why it's called ring test. If you see formation of a ring, then that's an indication that the person is losing albumin in his or her urine. Again, lucky there is no ring formed, that means this person is not losing any albumin. So this is how we perform test to confirm. 3 tests we do it. One for glycosuria. Glycosuria, of course, again theory, presence of glucose in urine. And all this will happen, why? Because of nephritis. There is some problem with the nephrons, malfunctioning of nephrons. And theoretical background, nephron is the functional unit of excretion. Okay? And in nephron, there are 5. Remember? There is a head portion, there is a long tail portion, and that head portion has got a teacup shaped structure. It's called Bowman's capsule. And inside the Bowman's capsule, there is a network of afferent arterioles and efferent arterioles. So that network is called glomerulus. So first filtration, when blood comes there, first filtration is called ultrafiltration. Remember theoretical background? It's called ultrafiltration. GMR, glomerular filtration, GFR. And we also say rate. So their filtration takes place. Once if filtration takes place means all the useful things like proteins, amino acids, hormones, enzymes, glucose, they have to go back to the body along with the blood. But if there is any problem, it escapes. All these materials, useful materials will escape. Normally, wasteful materials only should escape. What are the wasteful materials? One is ammonia. Then we say organisms that exhale or that throw out ammonia, they are called amnotelic. Then we say urotelic, organisms that excrete urea. Urea is again nitrogenous product. So that is urotelic. Third one, some organisms they excrete uric acid, dilute form of urea. So then we say uricotelic. In all the 3 types, nitrogenous waste product should be thrown out. But unfortunately, if useful things such as glucose, albumin, amino acids are thrown out, that means there is some malfunctioning in our physiology. So we detect through this test. Right? And of course, once person is detected to be diabetic, then he has to consult a diabetician to confirm whether it is type 1 or type 2. Type 1, of course, it is because of non-functioning of pancreas. Our own immune cells will attack the beta cells. So, insulin, zero insulin production. Whereas in type 2, insulin is there. Pancreas is secreting the insulin, but it is not sufficient enough to reabsorb the glucose, escaping glucose. So, filtration is not taking place properly. So, deficient insulin is there. This may be due to old age, due to injury or this, right? So the diabetes you can confirm whether it is type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes. And sometimes unfortunately even small children will have this diabetes. We say the child diabetes. Okay, that is also very unfortunate. Hence, we need to ascertain. It is always, we say in medical field, prevention is better than cure. So we need to know what type of disease is taking place. Then, what are the observations that you make? Based on the color, just now I showed you. Two, I am showing one normal, one abnormal. Look at this. This is your observation. See the colors. Based on the colors, you need to ascertain whether it is diabetic or not, whether it is albuminuria or glycosinuria. This is your observation. Result, based on your observations, you write the result. If there is a color change, like the urine has become yellow reddish or reddish orange or yellowish green, that means person is diabetic. So you write there. Since the color that is obtained by me is this, person is diabetic. So you need to take two samples, sample A, sample B. Then of course precautions, since you are handling a lot of glass material test tubes, be careful when you are handling the test tubes. Second, not many chemicals are there, they may react with your palm, with your skin, so be careful. Then you are heating with the help of Bunsen burner, so don't boil it. When you overboil it, the entire chemicals may jump out of test tube and you may face difficulty. Hence, handle the apparatus carefully, handle the chemicals carefully, while boiling the reagents carefully. Be careful. These are the precautions that you need to take. And of course, sketch all the three. One test tube with Brennick's test, one Paley's, one ring test. Three diagrams you have to draw and label it. And observation column you can put it a tabular column. Sample A, sample B. Right? So in our next class we will go with another experiment. Thank you.